What is up, guys? We are back with top 4 of the ARG $1,000 Florida State Championship, and we got DBS Dad, Gabriel Alonso, elite Patreon member of PBG, here with a top 4 performance. This is the first time he makes top 4.
Yeah.
So shout out to him, but sitting across the table from him is his bane. Actually took him down in the Super Release top 8. Same opponent, different decks. We got SS3 Blue Control versus SS3 Blue Green Control. Which control deck is best? Blue Green only came to fruition because of Mono Blue. Can Mono Blue take down Blue Green? What are your thoughts, Fernando?
I mean, yeah, at this point, Blue Green is like Mono Blue's boogeyman. It's just, it exists to beat Blue Green. To beat Mono Blue, and we're gonna see if Gabriel Alonso, just on sheer willpower and outplay potential, can try to make something happen here. Andrew Calderon, unlike previous games, did not get a very good opening, and this is exactly how Gabriel Alonso can get ahead. It's basically Andrew Calderon did not get the explosive start, did not start harassing the life early with crit, forcing out Gohans. So Gabriel's defensive options are still completely there, and I guess the only saving grace for Andrew is that he did not put any creature on board, so this Tapion is going to be a little bit less effective for Gabriel. But aside from that, Gabriel's in complete control at least, and turn 1 and turn 2, so this is exactly what he needs. If there is a formula for the blue deck to beat the blue-green deck, this is certainly it. The only thing that I'm concerned about is that Andrew Calderon gets to deploy a 4-drop first, as he's going to be able to next turn, and if he just establishes either a Piccolo or an Annalisa really early on, those are cards that are just very difficult for Gabriel to deal with. But to be fair, Andrew has not drawn that many cards. He has not awakened, so he has not had that much card selection. So it might be difficult for him to have one of those threats immediately. But still, we fortunately enough, he hits it. He has it. It's gonna kill Tapion most likely. He didn't choose to do it. Surprisingly, I'm curious about why. But either way, Gabriel Alonso goes into his turn. It might be actually incentivizing Gabriel to attack with the Tapion and awaken Andrew, because Andrew has no way to awaken from here on out. If he doesn't awaken in the early I guess one of the big flaws, as he reveals Beerus there, that was a pretty big mistake. Now Gabriel knows what to play around, but more to how to awaken. So in the green version of the deck, the 1-drop Gohan is the only way to awaken. They don't play tapping or anything like that. So if you don't get it out in the first 2 turns, the rest of the game you want to be casting 4-drops. You want to be doing Beerus. So if Gabriel Alonso picks up on that and wants to take the game slower, he could definitely make Andrew not awaken. But I don't suspect that's what Gabriel wants to do. Gabriel wants to be proactive. He wants to aggressively draw cards with his leader, establish some semblance of a board. But you see it here. Because the Piccolo is on board, he hasn't even done anything. He has not attacked. He has not popped a card yet. And it's so threatening, so difficult for Gabriel to develop his game and advance his board. All he can do is spin his wheels with boos and flutes. But at the end of the day, what matters is bombs, and Andrews are just better. And Gabriel Alonso is going to have to rely heavily on drawing the Dragon Fist Goku, which he actually ended up manaing one. So hopefully he gets access to a few more during the course of the game. But as for now, he's going to have to get through his turn 5. And
he didn't have a second card. Did Andrew actually pop a card? With Piccolo?
No, he did not.
Okay.
Oh yeah, and that's a good point. I believe that Piccolo needs a Bond 2 to be able to pop a card, so that's actually a perfect reason why Andrew didn't do it that turn. It wasn't anything next level by his part. But either way, it didn't affect him that much. Soon enough, the Piccolo will start destroying cards. And no hesitation, just Beerus down immediately. Immediately activates that bond effect, kills Tapion, swings out with the Beerus. And just like we've seen in all the previous rounds, Andrew's just going to take over the game from here unless something big happens from Gabriel's side. And I want to see what he discards, what he does. Certainly, he does not want to get rid of that Dragon Fist Goku is in his hand, even if it would be the most efficient discard for the Beerus. It's his only answer to it, so he does not want to get rid of that. Certainly. So I'm assuming he has no good discards. I just got a glimpse of his hand, and he has so many 1-drops, so many beans, so many Whis coercions. He might actually have to discard up to 3 cards if he doesn't get rid of that Dragon Fist.
Dragon Fist, very, very powerful here, and you're going to see it play a lot in this matchup, especially a deck that plays a lot of barrier guys like Andrews does. That Dragon Fist is going to put in a lot of work in essentially time-walking the opponent and making them replay the same turn over and over and over again. And we're going to see if Andrew actually has any out to that card, because it does have barrier.
So, like we've seen, like if the game gets to that point and Andrew and Gabriel Alonso is able to develop all his Dragon Fists, then sure, it'll be a good spot for Gabriel because he can start spinning back threats, and Andrew really can't deal with the Dragon Fist. But it hasn't come down to that. It hasn't been about that the last few times we've seen this matchup. It's just about the turn 4 and the turn 5. It's just so disastrous for the mono blue deck to take a Beerus hit and deal with the Piccolo on board, and to then start doing the Dragon Fist effects. It just hasn't been something that mono blue can deal with, and you see a Dragon Fist goes down, never being cast.
Dragon Fist is actually really good here because it actually eats a whole Beerus ability too. So not only does it have the ability of taking over the game potentially, but it cushions the blow off of Beerus, which is fantastic.
You know, most certainly, and like it does do that where it fulfills Beerus's condition altogether with just discarding 1 card. But I suspect that Gabriel Alonso actually discarded Dragon Fist because he had nothing better to discard, and it would have been too crippling to discard 3 cards to the Beerus just because of the combination of cards in his hand. He has some 4-drops and then a bunch of 1-drops, so I suspect that's probably why he took such a big pause. He just didn't want to do that, but was forced to. So, and now you see, it's actually, I guess, a saving grace for Gabriel that Andrew Cardona hasn't awakened yet, because now his leader can start leveraging a little bit of card advantage going against the creatures. And I suspect, if I was Gabriel, I would throw a bunch of resources at this Beerus. And there you go. Andrew didn't have enough to defend it, and that was an expert play by Gabriel, just like analyzing, okay, if I go towards his leader, he's going to be able to awaken, he's going to get card advantage, he's going to get away with the game. But if I just go with the Beerus and combo, a super combo and a boo, in this case, he was able to get rid of the massive threat that if it untapped, Andrew Cardona would have most certainly ran away with the game. So
Gabriel doing a fantastic job at keeping Andrew from awakening, because Andrew's now stuck with so little cards that he doesn't want to dedicate more resources in defending anything because he's already so low on cards. And now a Dragon Fist down for Gabriel Alonso, and it's going to be able to time walk that Kami's Piccolo. Sure, it's going to be a double strike at Andrew's life, and he has to take it in this point. There's no way that Andrew defends this attack.
He's going to go to 3. He needs the card advantage from the life. He needs to awaken with his leader. He just needs all the cards.
Yeah.
But at this point, I don't think Andrew actually has a way to overcome this, because he only has 1 play a turn. That 1 play is almost guaranteed not to deal with the Dragon Fist Goku. I don't think he's main decking Mafuba, so that's not an option for him. And from this point forward, if Gabriel establishes a second Dragon Fist or just keeps playing regular bombs like another Beerus on his turn, he's going to have a significant advantage. And that one and a half to 2 turn stumble from Andrew not being able to awaken, not having enough card advantage to leverage putting bombs on the field from his tempo advantage, like really cost him. And it let Gabriel get through the turn 5. It let Gabriel establish a Dragon Fist. Even after manaing one and discarding one, he managed to play one on turn 6, very importantly. And
only problem is, like you said, he did mana one and he did discard one. This is a card that's good in multiples.
Exactly.
Once you get 2 copies out, you're untapping 4 energy per turn, which is just ridiculous. On top of that, you're time walking your opponent. Everything that they're doing, you're setting them back a turn, setting them back a turn, setting them back a turn. They don't have the energy to keep playing the same card. You only have 6 energy in SS3. You have 3 on your opponent's turn, sure, but you need to be doing something to progress your board state. And if you can't because the Dragon Fist is locking you down, then it just becomes a huge game, a huge game changer.
And if there's anyone that can navigate through this situation, I want to see how Andrew does it, because he can use the multiple blocks that he has in his hand to deal with the Dragon Fist for the next couple of turns. So he's not going to sink to it just yet, but he's in a difficult position. Like you see, he only has 1 play a turn. The Dragon Fist is going to get rid of it. That's going to happen no matter what. So how does he gain advantage from this position? How does he force out as many cards from Gabriel every turn with that knowledge in mind that he's only going to have limited amount of plays? And I believe, if I'm not mistaken, he's comboing onto the Dragon Fist, and this is a massive point in the turn.
Oh my god. Andrew trading up to a Dragon Fist, does that ever feel good?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. It's what he has to do is what he's determined is the best chance for him to win the game, and he's putting so much combo power into this attack, and I wouldn't be surprised if he puts more. I think it's correct, and if this Dragon Fist does not survive this turn, Gabriel Alonso is back to square one, back in a bad position. So Andrew Calderon is making the right choice, but is it going to be too costly? And I want to see, you see him debating it. It's already so much combo power on the table, but he wants to put more. The Dragon Fist must die, essentially, this turn. And even if it does, Andrew doesn't have the mana to make a play.
It sucks because Andrew's actually trading up. So Gabriel's already netting a 10k just by Andrew just attacking the leader. So now that puts Gabriel in a position where he actually doesn't even have to trade as much as Andrew does. So there's almost no reason in Gabriel's deck, especially in a match like this, that you can't match a combo. Unless you really, really go all out and you're hell-bent on something like that and your opponent has an Awaken, kind of where Gabriel did that play against the Beerus. The only reason why it worked out in that scenario is because Andrew didn't have those cards that he got from the Awakening. Here, both players already have access. Gabriel's been drawing cards for, what, 2-3 more turns than Andrew has because of the Awaken. That's going to be huge in getting Gabriel back into the game, especially when Andrew tries to do poor combat maneuvers like that. His idea was great because he needed to get that fist out of the way.
It was a forced play.
I don't believe that was a successful maneuver. I felt that was just something that was going to get shut down no matter what. I know once Gabriel saw this is what he's trying to do and he's dedicating so much, like I should probably defend it, and that's what Gabriel went with.
I mean, Andrew determined that basically his one chance was to put as many super combos as he had available in his hand into up attacking into the Dragon Fist, and in his mind maybe Gabriel Alonso doesn't have the right amount of defensive cards to be able to save the Dragon Fist. That that's what he's banking on. That's his one chance, and Dragon Fist got to untap. Gabriel Alonso has the ability to now do multiple 4-drop in one turn because of the Dragon Fist ability, and that's going to get him extremely ahead. And
it's great because SS3 normally plays with 6 energy. In this case, he's playing with 8 energy.
Exactly, and even more if he actually ends up finding another copy of the Dragon Fist. So he doesn't necessarily need it. It'd be great if he does. If he finds a Beerus too, a Beerus plus any 3-drop or just leaving mana open is fine as well. Anything he wants to do from this point forward is good as long as he makes a proactive play.
I like this play here. Gabriel using his energy before attacking with the Dragon Fist. Very, very skilled move here. He doesn't want to get that energy ability out. He doesn't want that to be useless. he wants to be able to untap some energy that is already used, so he's proactively going to play the Piccolo first, try to apply some pressure, get his opponent down to 2, and then go in with the Dragon Fist and untap some energy. So very good leaving the Dragon Fist for last 2, just in case Andrew were to play a Gohan or something like that. He does get some value in putting it back to his hand, which not necessarily you want to do on a Gohan, to be honest, but it's still something that comes up as a possibility.
And this is a phenomenal turn from Gabriel. He's been holding on to the 4-mana cards in his hand the whole game, and now it's a perfect time to develop them because Andrew is stuck having to play a really impactful card like a Beerus, but at the same time he needs to play something like a Piccolo to deal with Gabriel's increasingly growing board. So at this moment, just dumping as many cards as possible on the table that Andrew has to deal with is what Gabriel wants to do, and I want to see him tap out aggressively. I want to see maybe that Bergamo that he has in the forefront of his hand, he's thinking about playing it, and it definitely be the best play for him. Even if it ends up dying to something like a Piccolo, it applied the pressure, and it forced Andrew's whole turn essentially in that 4-drop. So we're just seeing how powerful Dragon Fist is when, in previous rounds, Andrew has won the game before that card could be effective enough, but because of his early game Awakening Stumble, he just got to turn 6. Dragon Fist is just doing everything on his own. He did not play the 4-drop that turn, opted instead to leave energy available for any type of Gohans or super combos that he might otherwise want to play. So definitely a conservative play. His board right now is almost unkillable aside from that Gohan. He even lets it die because it's of little impact at this point. And something like the Piccolo isn't going to affect him. So I can see where his reasoning is. If I put a Bergamo on board, it can die easily. But it also applies pressure.
Yeah.
So
no, yeah, the Bergamo is definitely something that you want to energy 100% of the time against this deck. Though it does bait out Akami's Piccolo maybe as Andrew's turn, which is actually pretty good because if he does bait out Akami's Piccolo, then the Dragon Fist just keeps getting better and better and better. This Dragon Fist renders the Annalisa and the Piccolo completely useless. But Andrew's going to go ahead and try to cast his Annalisa in hopes of trying to getting this SS3 off board, most likely with the Fu, or he might just be going towards Gabriel's life. But I think going towards Gabriel's life, he's not going to be able to kill him or anything close. I think maybe he could have directed both attacks to the Dragon Fist because now he's kind of netting that advantage that he would have otherwise lost when he's trading up to the Dragon Fist.
No, exactly. That's a good point. I don't like this change of plans from Andrew Calderon. I don't really understand why he's attacking the leader at this point. If he was going to commit to this line of play, he would have just attacked the leader a few turns before and not have wasted that additional 1k combo power on trying to get the SS3 off the field. I mean, there are different game states. Maybe he felt a little bit more confident that he could kill it with that much combo power a few turns ago, but at this point it's just looking like a deficit in card advantage, and you don't want to be summoning Annalisa against your opponent's resolved Dragon Fist. It's just not favorable for Andrew, and his back is against the wall here. And reasonably, Gabriel could just take this attack.
That's why I think he was thinking so hard, because he was like, yeah, I can technically take this attack, and I think I would have in this case because he knows that he's gonna have to defend his Dragon Fist sooner or later.
So defending it, you feel defending it was better?
Yeah, I think I think taking it would have been better.
Okay.
Him taking the 2-life, go to 2, and then the Scientist Shoe can be negated. That way, Gabriel doesn't lose any cards to the Annalisa trigger.
He doesn't waste any Annalisa cards. Yeah, no, that would have been slightly better, and I think, okay, in a way, I can understand where Gabriel is coming from. He's saying, okay, I'm in such a favorable position. If I just defend my life from this point forward, and even if Andrew goes toward the leader with Scientist Fu, then he would be able to just take that one instead. So I can see he's trying to be as defensive as possible because he doesn't feel that he can lose in such an advantageous position. But in that case, it's subtle, but maybe taking the life was correct. And that's something that, when he sits down with the people at PUBG, all our pro players, we can watch videos like this and we can point out specific scenarios like that, and we can say, hey, in this play, what was your mentality and what could have been better. And that's a way that it doesn't feel like a misplay in such a complicated game state like this one, but definitely it's something to look back on and learn from. So that's one advantage that Gabriel being part of the Patreon has. Is just having access to these videos and having the ability to learn from his mistakes.
I really love these Piccolos in this matchup, even though they're not doing anything to Andrew's creatures because they all have barrier. Having the critical ability on a 20k body is really, really useful, especially because at any point if Andrew were to play something, even if it's a Gohan, think about it. He could play a Gohan on any of these combos. It kind of puts Andrew in a position where if I play a Gohan, it's going to die. Because that Piccolo at any point can just be like dead, 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 dead. So I love Piccolo in this match. I think it's infinitely better than energy boosted Beerus just because you can use it whenever you feel like it. You can invest your energy into it. It doesn't have a come into play auto ability. It can just sit there, pressure the opponent. Not only is critical, I think, more important than double strike, but it's just something that can use the ability whenever it so feels like it.
Yeah, definitely critical, significantly more impactful in this type of game, in this matchup, than double strike would be because of the pressure that it applies. And as you can see with the Gohan example, and also the multiple Android 16s that I noticed Andrew
has to discard from the Annalisa trigger. Hold on.
I believe so. So we're going to get that corrected really quickly. Should be a very easy fix. But from this point forward, I want to see Gabriel be aggressive like he's doing. And he still has plays left. He's going to be able to untap 2 energy and summon at least a Jajirobe or a 3-drop, anything that he wishes, really. Have combo power for his SS3 Goku. So he's very far ahead here. He's going to get rid of the Annalisa, and it's just showing that Goku SS3 Dragon Fist can take over the game by himself. The moment Gabriel was losing every point before that card hit play, and
that
now
Gohan's gonna die now to a Piccolo. He could bounce it back with the Goku. He has so many options, but I think the best thing for him to do is just kill it with the Piccolo now, because that Piccolo's not gonna kill anything in Andrew's deck. Like, everything has barrier, just kill it.
Yep, nothing relevant in Andrew's deck that doesn't have barrier, except for maybe the Beerus, but it's not a good board position to be summoning that one either. So the Gohan's gonna die before this turn ends for sure. And Andrew's just gonna have a clear board, staring down 2 critical 20Ks and the Dragon Fist that's been doing so much this game.
Oh my god. And Dimensional Banisher Fu, I don't know how I like that play. I mean, it's a double striking. I guess it's like double strike, so it applies some type of pressure on Andrew, but there was really no reason to play it there.
Yeah, there could be an argument. Maybe Gabriel has multiple beans and he wanted to make a different play, but at this point he's just comboing 5. Andrew might take it, and Andrew's in a bad spot, and discarding cards to this attack. Yeah, he might not. Gabriel might not have gotten the maximum value from that Fu, but certainly he gets at least a little bit of pressure out of it. So what does Andrew do at this point? How does he approach this situation? He does have a lot of resources. He has all his mana. He has a Scientist Fu. He has multiple of his 4-drops in his hand. So he has to navigate this in such a way where he tries to get some sort of advantage. At this point, I believe that the only way he's going to win is to pressure Gabriel's life, and if Gabriel just hope that Gabriel doesn't have enough negates to fend off the double strikers. So he's drawing cards, looking at options. Even something as simple as that Boo, which is 5k combo power, is gonna die to the Piccolo, for example. If Gabriel wanted to make an aggressive play, so even the 1 mana draw card little dudes are getting mitigated. It just feels like an uphill battle from this point forward. This attack does make sense because Andrew doesn't want a single strike. toward Gabriel's life, Gabriel will just happily take that one, and an odd number when double strikers are the only way for you to win is the exact same thing as him having 4 life. So definitely attacking the Piccolo was a fine play there. And he's comboing here more. What's happening here is Andrew's trying to bait Gabriel into discarding a card with the because of the Analyza trigger and defending the Piccolo. And if he does do so, then Andrew has a really nice opening where he can try to go for the leader. And Gabriel, I think, is biting. He's saying, I'm going to defend this Piccolo because maybe it's worth a lot for me on the next turn. But little does he know that he might actually just straight up lose on this turn if he's not careful. And I don't believe glimpsing at his hand he has a negate. So Andrew all of a sudden might be able to come back from this situation.
Yeah, Gabriel's losing a lot of cards for no reason here.
Oh, but again, Andrew just attacking the Piccolo instead of Gabriel, and maybe he's saying that if Gabriel gets blocks from his life, it'll be difficult for Andrew to win. But I think maybe he's missing his window of opportunity. It's interesting to see like what is Andrew's mentality at this point. Maybe to us it feels like he's behind, but maybe he believes he has some sort of position of power where he's saying he can win in the card advantage war still. And I mean, he is kind of proving that he has so many cards in hand to Gabriel's low amount of cards in hand, but only at 1 life can he survive next turn is my question.
Seems like a tough thing to expect, especially in a deck that I mean, he threw a lot of those combo Gokus away, but Andrew's deck does have a lot of negates, so it effectively can make the turn 0. It can make his opponent's turn pretty much skip your turn. You know, like there's so many negates in his hand that he can essentially just skip his opponent's next turn, right?
Yeah, and I think this is a massive play here. The Scientist Fu, if I'm not mistaken, is going against the Dragon Fist Goku, and I think that overextension, defending himself last turn, giving the Analyza a 1-card value, and then this turn also giving the Analyza value through defending the Piccolo, really took its toll on Gabriel's hand, and he wasn't able to defend his Dragon Fist. And without that, he can't make any aggressive pushes toward Andrew. So even at 1 life, Andrew's going to be able to survive this turn, I expect. Like, he has so many cards in hand.
And I think Gabriel's sitting with another Dragon Fist in his hand, actually, so...
Oh, wow.
It's actually pretty good for Gabriel. Thank God he did. Even though he lost his Dragon Fist, he was able to draw into another one. But it was just still very incorrect to dedicate so many resources into defending his Piccolo when the only thing that he should be caring about is his Dragon Fist. Dragon Fist is the only thing that's applying, multiple 5Ks, multiple 10Ks from the opponent. So it's the only thing that's really putting like some sort of pressure, form of large pressure.
And I mean, also Andrew's already at 1, so the Piccolo, besides getting a 10K out of Andrew's hand, isn't really getting that much value. So I just really would have wanted him to keep all that combo power in his hand, Gabriel that is, and we're gonna see if it comes back to bite him. It's still a very close game. Andrew looked like he was winning. His cards are dwindling because of these attacks. So Gabriel coming back in terms of card advantage a little bit, but I just don't think that Andrew can die this turn, and I don't think that Gabriel is going to go all in, or unless he goes all in with this Dragon Fist, of course. But let's see what happens here. This is a good negate by Andrew, choosing to conserve his life. The only card that could kill him in that situation is that Dragon Fist, so negating it guarantees him that he will untap in the turn. And Gabriel's still at low resources, so it's going to be a repetition of last turn. Andrew's going to summon an Analyza, attack the Dragon Fist, force Gabriel to spend a lot of combo resources dealing with either saving his Goku or just losing it altogether. And after this is the last Dragon Fist. This is the 4th one. it was fortunate that he even got the fourth one to begin with, and now Andrew might even deal with this one. So
Annalisa down for Andrew again, but it's just, I don't think it's enough, but he's still making it worth a lot with his tactics in battle.
No, and I mean, yeah, it just honestly feels like Andrew has been navigating this expertly and forcing Gabriel to make plays that on the surface seem correct but are exactly what Andrew wants. They're making Gabriel play into Annalisa so perfectly, and Andrew's just getting so much value off of his one play a turn. He's just getting that advantage. Look, yet another card. It's like the third or fourth card that Annalisa takes between turns, and even getting bounced back, Andrew is still just moving forward. And I do not believe the game is going to end this turn. For sure not for Gabriel, because he has 4 life. I just want to see how Andrew can close out from here. How can...
He has 1 negate. He has a Piccolo. He has a 10k in Raging Spirit Gohan. He can maybe throw a Beerus Vanquisher as a 10k if he really needs to defend. But it doesn't seem like he has a very powerful defense for next turn. But he's got to be careful, and Gabriel's got to be careful on how he combos. He can't be throwing away cards recklessly to the Annalisa. Little by little, it's just chipping away at advantage, and he's not going to be able to push as hard as he needs to actually win the game.
I think Andrew might be a little bit concerned here how he's going to survive next turn, but at this point, this is the line of play that he's chosen. He's chosen to go for board control, and it's been working like marvelously so far, a lot more than I expected. I would have wanted him to attack the Dragon Fist, but I think he knows that Gabriel has to be sitting on a lot of 1k combo power, so it makes sense that he's not doing so.
Gabriel really needs to see a Tapion right now. Next turn, he needs to see a Tapion. If he sees a Tapion, he's actually really, really favorable to win this upcoming turn, because the Tapion is going to net him 2 cards. It's going to net him an attacker. He's going to be able to untap 2 energy with a Super Saiyan 3 Dragon Fist, and he's going to be able to have enough to overcome Andrew's defense. But if he doesn't have that, then those cards sitting in the life are not going to be doing anything.
Yeah, and I want to see Gabriel here be savvy enough to remember that the Piccolos haven't been used this game yet, so they can definitely kill those Gohans for free. So I want to see that happen this turn, and the Dragon Fist might just close out this game. Even this attack could honestly be enough. Gabriel might have finally broken through after so many turns. It's important for him to remember not to combo with anything before the Dragon Fist gets the Annalisa off the board.
I mean, he could even combo with Sensu Beans if he wants to, because it's not really a combo, so it would be fine. But
that's true.
I think this is good here. Fluting back to Gohan, great play. I think you attack with the leader here next. That's the correct play.
The leader, and it goes to his leader, obviously, because he's at 1.
Leader,
so
yeah.
There's just so much card advantage for Gabriel. And was that
hard.
A Scientist Fu?
No. That was a Majin Buu, I think.
Oh, okay. So this might be it for Andrew. I want to maybe his super combos can draw him into a Sensu Bean, and that he has 1 left Piccolo, so he might get a Sensu Bean. He might be able to survive the turn. It's just looking really, really difficult, and it goes back to that last turn, I feel, where he had Annalisa and Scientist Fu, and he decided not to go for Gabriel Alonso's life, like respecting the possibility of a negate way too much. And I believe he missed his window of opportunity. He might have also not expected Gabriel to have the 4th copy of Dragon Fist. Andrew Cardo might have been expecting, okay, I'm going to survive this turn. I'm going to be able to untap, play a second Annalisa, and that's going to 100% seal the deal. But
Gabriel should have comboed a Sensu Bean there. There was no reason not to combo a Sensu Bean. He doesn't have to discard because Annalisa, because it's not technically a combo, and it forces Andrew into throwing multiple 10Ks here. And now Gabriel cannot focus on having the last attack on Dragon Fist, because then he can just get stopped by a negate, and it doesn't look like he has any additional threats in hand. But he can play Majin Buu, right? Draw, Dragon Fist, untap both energy, and hopefully in those 2 draw steps actually get a threat. But as of now, it looks like he's still in trouble. It's still not looking good for him.
So the most optimal way to attack that turn would have been to play both the boos, get as much information as possible, attack with the Dragon Fist, force out the negate, and then attack with the Piccolos and have all of them be able to go all in. The way things are right now, Andrew might survive like miraculously, and there's only 3 cards left.
Oh my god!
So if he has
actually has to go now. He has a Piccolo and he has 2 boos, so he's not going to be able to play both boos. He's only going to be able to play 1 boo, and then wait, he already played a boo, right? So he played 1 boo out of the 2 that he had in his hand. So he can still play a boo, and then he can play a boost attack Piccolo, and he'll go to exactly 1 card in deck.
And
where's Tapion? Has he not drawn a Tapion this whole game?
Not sure. There's one in the.
He might have just comboed with all of them.
Yeah. Not a very crucial card, seeing as most of Andrew's cards have.
Oh no, I don't think the Dragon Fist was correct there. He should have played the Majin Buu first.
Does he have one left? I think it's.
Oh, he has 3 cards left. Yeah, he had 2 Majin Buus in his hand.
And no, look, it's a Scientist Fu like I thought.
Oh, he has a Scientist Fu. Okay.
And even then, he should have Scientist Fu there too. But I mean, if he has a Scientist Fu, like.
He's also missing the trigger. Oh, well, actually, it's good on Gabriel by not bouncing back a card here. Because if you bounce back a card, then he gives Andrew more combo power.
And I think Gabriel Alonso, he's forced to play the Scientist Fu, but at the same time he draws.
Whoa! Oh, okay. But all right, he put it back with the Dragon Fist.
At the same time, he neutralized the super combos that he had in his hand. And we see that Gabriel was able to win the last turn he had there. Just too much combo power, but I believe it was unnecessarily close.
Unnecessarily close, correct. I agree.
Gabriel should have taken advantage of his position in that game much sooner and closed out the game with much more ease. Definitely the Andrew Calderon's expertise with his blue-green strategy shows. He got as much value out of his analysis as possible, and he understood what he had to do. He had to force Gabriel to trigger the Annalisa multiple times per turn just to keep him in card advantage, and he did that. He forced Gabriel in a sense to protect his creatures, and by doing that, forced the Annalisa to just put in so much work against such an impossible threat to deal with, like the Dragon Fist Goku. But in the end, the Dragon Fist took it.
No, yeah, Dragon Fist was actually our meta call on this event. When Gabriel was asking with help with the deck, we kind of just told him, hey, this might be the way that you want to go. And he listened and is showing a lot of success. He feels very comfortable with the deck. He knows exactly what the game plan is for the most part. You did see in that combat, you can see a lot of these control matchups get to points where you can get mind gamed into a certain way because your opponent's like playing a certain way. So you're like, why is my opponent playing like this? He must be playing correct because he has so much experience. Andrew Calderon, you're sitting across the table from, you're like, he must be doing something. So you play along with it sometimes. When sometimes they only do that because they're in such a terrible position that's the only way that they only hope is for you to take their bait. Yeah. And I think that was a perfect example of Gabriel playing to Andrew's mind game. And that just goes with, Andrew's like infinite years of experience. Like, this guy is one of the top 5 legacy players in the world for Magic the Gathering. And that's saying a lot because Magic is one of the most infamous games with the biggest masterminds. I think the smartest players in the whole wide world have played Magic.
And it goes to show as well just how experience works into a mirror match like this one. It might seem on the surface that there's very little play to matches like this one. Whoever plays the biggest bomb just wins every single time. But you saw there is nuance. There is a certain level of depth, and something as simple as where an attack goes in a given turn can really throw off an opponent who is not as experienced or doesn't understand what the mirror match is really about. And Andrew did the best he could, and I'm honestly surprised that Gabriel got through. At least game 1 is most favorable for Andrew. Certainly things get better for Gabriel in games 2 and 3 because he knows what he's playing against, he knows what to expect, and just stumbling on Awakening is really what caught Andrew off guard there and what made Gabriel win that game.
Yeah, no, it was great play by Andrew for sure to try to really like salvage a game that he felt was unwinnable. Like he was just way far behind, and then he ended up making his way back in there, just grinding. A couple bad combos by Gabriel, a couple bad decisions by Gabriel, and moments later, Gabriel's sitting there with like 3-4 cards in hand versus Andrew's like 7, and we were just like, oh no, like it was really bad to the point where he almost put himself back into the game.
Mm-hmm.
But Gabriel was finally able to recompose, get his focus back into the game. And luckily close out the game, because it was very hard against Andrew's like 4 negates. Like there was a turn where he had like triple negate, pretty much passed his turn, and then the next turn he still had a proper amount of combo. But Annalisa, even though it was back to the hand, and Andrew was wasting his turn just casting it, was still getting a lot of value out. Yeah,
and you could tell that in a way Gabriel made a subtle mistake because of how Andrew was conducting the game, but he noticed. He said, okay, the turn where my Piccolo was attacked and I overextended in defending it might have not been the best turn, and he said, I'm not going to defend this third Dragon Fist, and he let that one get killed, and then he drew the fourth one, and he was able to leverage that advantage. So he learned on the fly. He learned from just within the game what he had to do, and was able to close out. So they're going to get started here.
And shout out to Joseph, by the way, Joseph C, for becoming a $10 patron. Really appreciate your support, man. You are getting us closer to that goal. We're almost there. We're almost hitting our $1,000 goal. Really appreciate every single one of our patrons. They've been having a great time this past month. It's almost been a month since our Patreon has officially been up. We've almost hit our first goal of $1,000. Wow. Everybody's gotten so much progress with the amount of content that we've been posting. They've been getting deck lists. They've been using the deck list. They've been getting success. You see Gabriel Alonso here in his first top 4 ever. You saw Jose today in a top 8 in Ohio. Everybody's just been doing so great from our Patreon. We really appreciate everybody who's contributed to it, because that helps us bring more content to you guys and higher quality content too. So really appreciate it. Once again, want to give a shout out to every patron who's subscribed today. Remember, you guys will have early access to these deck lists. You guys will be able to see the deck list before GenCon. Everybody else will be able to see the deck list after GenCon, but only those $10 Prime subscribers to Patreon will be able to. Wow, holy cow, and he just hit 2 red. Andrew Calderon just hit 2 red. Can somebody run the numbers really quick on that? Can somebody run the numbers of 2 Gokus on like the first leader swing? And it's 2 cards that are next to each other. Like he didn't even grab like 2 random ones. He grabbed 2 next to each other. So like that has to play into the percentages somehow. That was incredible. And that's one of the dangers. I mean, Fernando and I were talking about this. Like, when you're playing a 4-color deck like this, I mean, it's only bound to happen. This could have easily just been black card, red card, right? But this was red card, red card.
That is a horrific start for Andrew. And
the outcome is 0.07%.
Thank you for that quick math.
Holy cow.
Think basically with the greatest math. And honestly, it came at the worst time. He was undefeated up to this point, and he said, I'm going to
only undefeated.
Yeah, only undefeated in the entire event. And he said to himself, I'm going to accept this. I'm going to accept that this could occur, and I think that my green splash is going to win me more games than it's going to lose me. But this is the worst possible time, down a game in top 4 for his variants to come back and bite him. So I just want to see if he can win from this position.
We got a few different numbers in the chat here. I'm not gonna do the math. I'm sure not the cards next to each other have to add into the probability somehow. I don't know how my numbers work and anything like that. I mean, I took statistics once. I don't even know if I passed.
I'm pretty sure at least one of you is correct in your calculation. Oh man.
He put Boo on the discard and not on top of that. Oh, I think you just put it back on top of that.
Be fine.
Can you go check if he put Boo on top of the deck or not?
Sure.
Oh, yeah, sure. Gencon. Sorry. Gencon.
Gabriel, right?
Yeah. No, Andrew didn't put the Boo on top of his deck off the Tapion. So we should be able to put the full power energy back, which was the last card that he drew, on top of the deck, and then he'll be able to draw the Boo, I assume.
Yeah, it was all good.
Yeah, it was all put back? Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Alright, yeah, everything's resolved on this side. Point is really low number, and we need to spam those Fs.
And yeah, fatigue also is a factor and might start settling in. And when you see such a bad opening, you know, Andrew has to keep his composure, say, this is possible, something that can happen, and I just got to fight through it as best I can. It doesn't look like he's that far behind, but it's turn 4 and he wasn't able to develop one of his 4-drops, the namesake of his deck, either Annalisa or the Piccolo, so he could fall really behind at this point.
Gabriel really needs to take advantage here, and you see the usefulness of Tapion here, being able to just awaken Gabriel, put him ahead a little bit faster. Thankfully, Andrew saw a Gohan, or else it would have been really, really tough for him to get back into this game. But Gabriel definitely has to apply some pressure as soon as possible with his Dragon Fist. As soon as he just Dragon Fist, then we can go and get that. He can go and get some more pressure out of Andrew. Maybe some more cards that Andrew has to commit, and then it'll be even more turns until Andrew can actually start sticking.
A Sensu Bean is absolutely critical in this turn right now. If Andrew doesn't have a Sensu Bean, it might just be game over right here, right now. That is too many attacks to overcome without the use of a Sensu Bean.
Yeah, not having Sensu Bean here must be hurting.
And I mean, at the end of the day, he could take the life damage, and it won't be that disastrous in terms of card advantage, but he'll lose so much tempo in the game, and any double strike could go ahead and kill him. So I suspect maybe he wants to take 1 life and then discard a 5k to the other 15. That would make the most sense. And Gabriel is just firing on all cylinders. You can really see the consistency of the mono blue version coming to fruition here. He just has multiple flutes for his multiple Gohans, and Andrew Calderon is not going to have any type of offensive anytime soon. And there's no real way to play around it. You know that the opponent has Gohan, but how are you going to play around it? You have to attack and have to force them out of Gabriel's hand, but it's just so difficult. It feels like such an uphill battle because of this mana situation. This is top 4 currently. Do we know the other? Is there a winner already for the other?
I believe Jonathan is over Alejandro. So Jonathan in the finals again of another huge PPG release tournament. And man, this kid has been on absolute tear. It was his first tournament a few weeks back. He won the super release, and now he's back with another iteration of Mono Blue. And it's just incredible what this kid's doing. Like, he just started playing the game.
And yeah, a second tournament success in a row. This one even larger than the first one that he won. So, and he's already in the finals. And we're gonna see. Very possibly Andrew could come back into this game, or Gabriel can take it and face him in the finals. So definitely, it's gonna be a control blue mirror certainly. I believe Jonathan has the more aggressive version with the Trunks that summons critical 15Ks, so it might not be a pure mirror match, but definitely blue is taking the day here. And Andrew, okay, so he established the Piccolo. There's still a chance that he comes back. Piccolo is going to stabilize as much as it can before something like a Beerus can come down. But it doesn't take away from the fact that Andrew is just a little bit behind at this point. Gabriel taking his time, just assessing all the possible plays. Turn 5 is a very crucial turn most of the time, and a good thing for Andrew, he doesn't have to deal with a Dragon Fist just yet. Maybe next turn, but as for this turn, you know, I guess the worst thing that he would have to deal with is a Beerus. I mean, if that's a little bit better, I don't know. And we see Gabriel, no, reconsidering there. Don't believe he actually he might not have a bomb altogether, hoping that his boob gets him into some sort of action. So he's gonna attack with leader first. We'll see what the top of his deck brings. Another super combo, I believe. So just Gabriel from this position, knowing that he's far ahead, just slow and steady. Every attack takes its toll, and Andrew hasn't really developed much more than just a Piccolo. It'll take a card every turn, but just attack, and tax as many cards away from Andrew's hand as possible. The key is to not let Andrew, reestablish his position in the game. Just continue to apply pressure to where Andrew really feels the toll of having mana those two reds on turn 1. I guess he's just going to super combo this attack. He does so, and he finds a Beerus, so he has a play for next turn.
And that's a Shrouded in Mystery Food in Andrew's hand.
Might be a game breaker in this kind of situation. The perfect card to get him back into the game.
It is a card that's going to be significantly worse if Gabriel lands a Dragon Fist, because the Dragon Fist is going to be able to clear any type of pressure that Andrew has on board, thus making the Fu much less effective. The Fu becomes very effective when you start having a lot of cards on board like Gabriel does, which Gabriel should be setting in his own copy of Shrouded in Mystery Fu. I believe that was the game plan that we went over with him. So he should be setting that in, and he should be seeing it very soon, hopefully, because that's a card that's really going to make or break this format at this matchup.
I was curious to see what he took out for that one in terms of his side decking plan, because you still see Scientist Fu in his energy too, so maybe he opted to bring in both, or he didn't bring the Shrouded.
No, Scientist Fu was in the main board. Is in the main board. I believe.
Right, so he didn't choose to take it out, right?
No, didn't choose to take it out. Because it is good against Beerus. So
Sure.
Normally when you draw the Scientist Fu, you just hold it in hand or keep it in energy, then send it for the Beerus, and then you can go and play a Shrouded in Mystery Fu. And then there's times down the river, your opponent's going to be at 2, you draw a Scientist Fu, and then you want to go for game for it. So you can't just assume that you're always going to land the Fu Shrouded in Mystery. It is pretty big. It's 10 cards overwhelm and then 6. Yeah, exactly. So there are times that it's not very good. But because you are mono blue, you're able to play both. I think in Andrew's case, he would have to side out Scientist Fus for the Shrouded in Mystery Fus, because his energy base is just so all over the place. Yeah. It's going to go out after the Tapion.
Tap.
The young tap boy.
Andrew, not out of it yet. We saw what he could do with Annalisa last game, and he has another one this game. He has that Piccolo, so the 15K pressure that Gabriel was applying has ceased for the moment. But we know Gabriel has multiple Gohans in hand, I believe, still from the times that he fluted them back. So something for Andrew to keep in mind, at least at this point in time. it's all gonna change when that Dragon Fist comes down. And if there's multiple Dragon Fists, that is absolutely insurmountable. So I want to see if Gabriel is able to, in 2 turns, subsequently summon Dragon Fist Gokus. Andrew Calderon sort of suffering from also drawing a little bit of an awkward hand. He has multiple Shrouded in Mystery Foos and maybe some more black cards that he just can't play. He's really getting stuck with all these extremely expensive cards in his hand. When Gabriel is going to have access to that Dragon Fist, is going to have access to 8 energy every single turn after this one, and like we saw in game 1, that's enough to close it out. And I'm sure Gabriel learned how to prioritize defending against Annalisa, how to mitigate its ability to the full extent that he can, and I believe this game should be definitely a bit easier for him moving forward. So let's see what happens here. I want to see this Dragon Fist attack the board and maybe hit the Annalisa. I guess he's choosing to bounce the Annalisa, so in that sense attacking the Piccolo would be correct. But definitely going after a creature, even if it allows Andrew. Oh, and we see a Mafuba here. That changes the math completely. As Dragon Fist is not going to come back. The next turn is going to come back the turn after that. And will it be too late? If Gabriel Alonso doesn't find the second Dragon Fist on the next turn, Andrew Calderon can develop an Annalisa, not have to worry about Dragon Fist in the following turn, and then summon a second Annalisa and just get really far ahead in terms of card advantage. So that Mafuba ended up being extremely powerful in this situation, and as we can see, Gabriel doesn't have a second Dragon Fist, so he's gonna have to dig for that one, or he's gonna be in trouble. Does still have this pressure advantage, forcing Andrew to use super combos. And there's also something to be said about Andrew's hand being a lot of 5Ks. I think he's running out of 10Ks, and eventually he's going to have to start discarding 2 cards a turn to these Piccolos. Hasn't happened yet, but certainly a possibility, and might be difficult for him moving forward. So let's see what he can do. This is a crucial turn. He's under less pressure than he has been in previous turns, and he knows that a Dragon Fist is potential for Gabriel, but he just cannot play around that any longer. He just has to accept the fact that that might occur to him, and if it doesn't, he can pull ahead. So I expect just Annalisa's all the way through for him. He might be considering that Shrouded Mystery Food, just making sure that it's a card that's fully beneficial for him. A little bit indecisive as opposed to game 1. I think he knew exactly what game plan he wanted to adopt. Maybe in this one he doesn't know if he wants to either try to kill Gabriel by going all in a short amount of time, or just playing this board control type of game like he did in game 1. It favored him tremendously in game 1, but maybe he's reconsidering his approach. But we shall see. So if he goes with the same thing he did in game 1, I believe both this Piccolo and the leader will be attacking Piccolos, and yeah, they are, and surprisingly Gabriel just let it die. So he's losing a little bit of his pressure there. And I'm curious to see if Andrew has a Senzu Bean, if he uses it aggressively to play a 3-drop creature in this case, but I don't think he has one. See if he gets it off of this leader swing. Second Mafuba. So he has bombs taken care of for a significant amount of turns.
Yeah, Gabriel might be in trouble here because these threats for Andrew are sticking now. So that means the Shrouded in Mystery Food becomes better and better and better. So Andrew might be able to go all in next turn.
And I think if Gabriel doesn't do something about Andrew's board, Andrew's just going to slam the Shrouded in Mystery Food and win the game on the spot. It feels like so. If Gabriel's going to have something like a Dragon Fist, it has to be right now. And we didn't see it there last turn, so we'll see if he was able to dig into it. It has to be this draw right here. Only a Wii score comes from it. And that Mafuba, the moment that Andrew Mafuba, he went from being in a terrible position to being in a more than acceptable spot, and just feels like it's slipping away from Gabriel a little bit. These green cards, you know, even with the terrible start that Andrew had, they're carrying their weight in gold. A lot of complex decisions on both sides. That's why these players, you see them take their time. You know, it doesn't hurt it if they're not 100% sure about the play they want to make. It if it's the most beneficial play for them, they just take a little bit of time, just think it through. Every decision matters here in top 4.
Ooh, and your favorite card there, Zamasu in the yard.
Yeah, so this Zamasu, it just hit the discard pile. He sideboards 2 copies of it. Every time that Beerus attacks, he says that the opponent has to choose 6 energy worth of cards and send them to the discard pile. And this Zamasu is a 6-drop, and it says it hasn't, the keyword instructable says it can't leave play. So the Beerus effect, you essentially choose him. It covers the Beerus's effects requirements and then just doesn't go away. So that keyword indestructible, very useful in this matchup.
Yeah, Shrouded in Mystery Food down for Gabriel, and he's going to go and take this opportunity while Andrew's at 1, and he beat Andrew to the punch. He landed his Shrouded in Mystery Food first, and we're going to see if Andrew has any type of response for that, because if he doesn't,
it's just going to be game here at the end.
I mean, there is no negates. There is no Mafubas.
His hand is awkward with a lot of negate type effects, and his combo power might be very low.
No, it is very low. Yeah, 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 35 maybe. 35, so he could go up to 50k, and Gabriel has already a couple Piccolos in hand, so that's already game there.
Yeah, so this is going to be it.
Yep, even if he survives this, Andrew cannot Overwhelm or play his Fu next turn.
Whoa.
Overwhelm is not an ability that can be used under Fu.
So, I mean, he's a total mirror breaker. This Fu, it essentially makes it so that the first person to cast it is the person who's going to seem like the victor. And Gabriel just making absolutely sure about how, you know, what exactly can Fu stop, what it cannot stop, and just making sure a little bit of insurance here at the end, just to make sure that nothing goes horribly awry, you know. So he's just confirming that he knows exactly what's going on. And yeah, him going all in leads me to believe that this is just going to be it.
Insane. Holy cow. The dream. He went to go ask the judge if what Fu exactly did. And Gabriel Alonso gets his revenge on one of the top Magic players in the world, Andrew Calderon. Very bright mind. And Gabriel showing so much progress here. Insane. Incredible. He's in the finals. He is in the finals of the ARG $1,000 state championship. He's about to become one of the 2, at least, top players in Florida. So we'll see if he's number 1 or number 2. But that was huge, guys. We're just going to go to break for a little bit. Just change the screen up really quick, and we'll be right back. Don't go anywhere.